So good morning, everyone. So welcome you all to Tech IMPRINT-II Technology Display event, which is organized by Science and Engineering Research Board, Government of India, for showcasing the outcome of IMPRINT-II projects. IMPRINT-II, that is impacting research, innovation, and technology, is a joint initiative by Department of Science and Technology and the Ministry of Education, which is being steered by the SERB. So in today's world, the collaboration between the industry and the academia is crucial for the innovation and the technological growth. So technological self-reliance is a vital factor for the India's economic progress, and IMPRINT is a significant step in this direction. So today we have all gathered here to see the outcome of a handful of such collaborative works in the form of posters, presentations, and tech displays. To grace this occasion, we have several renowned dignitaries present with us. So it's my privilege to welcome them all to this event. So first of all, I would like to introduce Professor Indranil Manna to our audience. So Professor Manna is currently the Vice Chancellor of Birla Institute of Technology, Mishra. Sir has also assumed the mantle of the Indian National Academy of Engineering as its 14th president. He also served as a former director of CGCRI Kolkata and IIT Kanpur. Professor Manna is the first national coordinator of IMPRINT, and in fact, I'm happy to share that he is the man who has brought this scheme see the light of the day. Professor Manna is a renowned academician and a prolific researcher in the area of metallurgical and material engineering. Professor has more than 300 peer-reviewed publications to his credit and is bestowed with several prestigious awards. So with this, I would like to welcome Professor Manna to the dais, and we would be hearing about the glimpse and the implementation of IMPRINT from Sir. So everyone, let's welcome Professor Manna to the dais with a big round of applause. So I would request you to please start the talk on the theme, the genesis and the implementation of IMPRINT. Yeah, it's all connected.
Very good morning to this August gathering. I mean, the entire who's who of the country in science and technology. I feel very humbled and at the same time extremely privileged. The interesting thing was I was a little bit delayed, so I thought somebody will actually scold me. Instead, I got a bouquet of flowers. And that was something very different, that in an event dedicated to IMPRINT, instead of my offering flower to somebody, somebody is offering flowers to me. So that's the change of circumstances. With my colleagues here, all esteemed colleagues and PIs and those associated with IMPRINT, and in particular the custodian of IMPRINT, the current mentor of IMPRINT, Chairman SERB, Dr. Akhilesh Gupta, Professor Rangan Banerjee, who used to be the coordinator of the energy domain, is now the host as director of IIT Delhi. I would just like to take you back a little bit about the and share the genesis of IMPRINT. And I personally believe at least those who have joined IMPRINT at a later stage would find it interesting and relevant. You know, before independence, starting from 1794, College of Engineering, Gindi, Chennai, there were about a dozen institutions existed before independence devoted to various disciplines of engineering and technology in the country. And yet the forefathers, true visionaries of this country before independence, created a committee called Nalini Ranjan Sarkar Committee in 1945, and they submitted their recommendation in 49 or 50 that India must have separate sets of institutes of technology designed after the very famous Massachusetts Institute of Technology. So, of course, many of the universities like Bombay, Madras, Calcutta, with their affiliate colleges to engineering were already existing, but the forefathers decided that India should have a separate sets of institutes of technology to promote the country's interest in technology. India would be required to build a lot, both infrastructure and capability. So the vision of the committee was truly a vision to produce scientists and engineers of the highest caliber, and goals and tasks of the institute should relate continuously to the changes taking place in the socio-economic development of the country, rapidly exploding universe of knowledge in science and technology. No mention about how many PhDs should be produced, how many faculty members, how many students, and so on and so forth. Just a vision. Based on that, the first IIT of the country was founded in Kharagpur, 1951. And we all know from 58, 59, Bombay, Chennai, Kanpur, Delhi, the 5 IITs were founded. And later on, now we have 23 IITs, and the regional engineering colleges were also converted into National Institute of Technology. So we have altogether 23 IITs and 31 NITs. So altogether 54 higher education institutes devoted to institutes of technology, the cause of engineering and technology. 2014, the new government took over, and for a change, the then Minister of Education invited all the IIT directors for a 3-day retreat in Goa, and we were tasked to come out with certain policy papers as to what the IITs should do and could do for the benefit of the nation in the next few years. So after very continuous rounds of discussion for 2 days, we came out with certain suggestions, certain recommendations. And I think some of the peers sitting here probably also were part of that meeting as Chairman Board of Governors. So there were quite a few proposals raised, and one of them was related to the principal theme that Institute of Technology, how many technologies we as IITs have contributed to the nation. If you go by purely anything emerging out of the IIT campus, probably the number will not be large, but it's at the same time, no one will dispute the fact that by then, following the vision of the forefathers, IITs in the history of its last 30, 40, 50 years have certainly carved its niche, its name in the entire world. Today, if India has a few international brand names, no denying the fact that IIT certainly would measure as one of them, one of the most prominent of them. But that was not enough, so the question was that, can IITs create a cradle for development of future technologies in the country? So we came up with the idea called IMPRINT, and there's a history following that retreat in Goa. There was this visitors conference convened by the then Rashtrapati ji, late Shri Pranab Mukherjee. So we all were asked to present, and apart from our own IITs, we also presented certain themes. Then I had the privilege of leading a team of Indian National Academy of Engineering to the US in December 2014, discussed with the National Academy of Engineering USA, and they were very keen to impress upon us that we must be an active partner. India as a whole should be an active partner of the grand challenges, 14 grand challenges propounded by the National Academy of Engineering USA. So we deliberated, we came back, and then we submitted our recommendation to the ministry saying that India needs to work obviously on those 14 grand challenges, but even before that, the fundamental datum of the country needs to be raised. So we just don't need to address only one question of how to enable CO2 sequestration or make energy available. But before that, we actually have to address very many fundamental issues, and as a whole, the country's technical manpower should be raised to a higher level. So we designed our own Grand Challenges program. The NAE team came back to 2015 again, and Dan Moat, the then president of NAE, was still very insistent, and the Honorable Minister that time, she met the US delegation and then still endorsed the views of the few groups of IIT directors that India should have its own program. Now, subsequently, of course, we had series of meetings at the ministry level. We had workshops, a couple of workshops in Kanpur, followed by in IIT Delhi, and several video conferences. And subsequently, an historic event took place, impacting research, innovation, and technology. IMPRINT truly is unique for three main reasons, as far as my understanding goes. Number one, this was the first program in the country which actually talked about the entire spectrum and scope of engineering and technology, not one cybersecurity or one solar energy harvesting, the entire engineering challenges and needs of the country. Number two, first time all the higher education institutions under MHRD, all the IITs, NITs, central universities, everybody was made equal partner. Of course, we decided to address the entire engineering challenges. We divided them arbitrarily into 10 domains. And to begin with, we decided to charge one of the IITs to be the national coordinators for one of these 10 domains. And the third reason why IMPRINT was unique was because this was an S&T movement where we talked about only translation. And in the lighter vein, we said that the output should not be two-dimensional, should not be only publication or patent, should be at least a working model, a three-dimensional output. So this was historic because as far as my memory goes, or I'm sure many others also would agree, we didn't have many such occasions, if at all any, where the highest political leadership of the country, the Honorable President and the Prime Minister, decided to come together to launch an S&T initiative steered by the academic institutions, and that too from Rashtrapati Bhavan, Darbar Hall. So this is how IMPRINT was launched, and then we went through series of meetings for evaluation. The committees were. So as I said that the idea was looking from the output side, not from the input side. So IMPRINT was not designed with mechanical engineering, chemical engineering, or computer science and engineering in mind. IMPRINT was designed with the end users and end applications in mind. So the domains were not engineering specific. The domains were output specific, like healthcare technology, sustainable habitat. We didn't say civil engineering, we said sustainable habitat, and whatever it takes to create sustainable habitat. Similarly, energy security for the country. Rangan is sitting here. He was a coordinator of energy security from IIT Bombay. So that's how we started, and we said the focus is on translation of knowledge. Now, in the same individual can do research and should continue to do research to create new knowledge. But IMPRINT said, what do you do with that knowledge? So IMPRINT was entirely dedicated towards translation of that knowledge into viable technology and products. The Prime Minister in the launch said something very remarkable. He said, science is universal, but engineering solutions must be local. What he meant was that the engineering institutions in the country, time has come for them to deliver something which will change the technological capability of the country. And today we hear him often mentioning Atmanirbhar Bharat. I'm sure he probably had that already in mind, that the engineering has to play a very major role towards that. And when we launched IMPRINT, we said 10 domains into 10 themes, into 10 titles, into 10 topics, with about 100 variants, make it 1 million challenges. So that's exactly why we were not so keen on following only the US dictated 14 grand challenges. We said we'll create our own national program. So million challenges, but we said we have billion minds. So today we all hear all over the places about India's demographic dividend, And probably we already are or will soon be the largest population in the country and also the youngest population in the country. So it's quite pertinent that we take up the challenge on our own shoulder and solve our own problems. So the call for proposal was launched given about a month's time, and 2,612 proposals came. By the way, all proposals were supposed to have at least one industry partner, 10 domains, 84 themes, 5,217 individuals were involved in these proposal writing. About 200 institutions as PI or co-PI participated, and altogether the total amount asked for was staggeringly large. Let's not get into that. So 2612 proposals initially submitted, where after a lot of screening came to 458. And even these 458, and if you look at the map and the spots on the map, you realize that the proposals came literally from all over the country. So there was truly a crowdsourcing model. One of the ambition of IMPRINT to begin with, I would certainly attribute that to the then minister. She was very confident that 500 crore from MHRD and 500 crore from the line ministries, various ministries. That didn't quite happen. So we struggled to get sufficient funds, and we had to prune. So 259 eventually, I think 142 were underway, which actually were granted. And so that was one difficulty, but then I must say that the entire exercise, the way we gathered the experts from all over the country, the way all the IITs and NITs and other institutions participated, certainly created an air of enthusiasm. So 14 ministries signed the MOU on 31st March 2016, and 11 departments of Government of India, including the strategic sector departments. And many of them, the strategic sector department heads, late Dr. Srikumar Banerjee, Dr. Dipankar Banerjee is sitting right here, and many of them actually joined as the lead coordinators of these domains. So this is what, like 143 were eventually approved, but then 116 couldn't get through because of the lack of support. So that was the history. And then, as I said, we promised that the output would be 3 dimensions. So in this very venue, IIT Delhi organized the first TechX, technological exhibition. And I'm so glad that IMPRINT-II exactly is following the footstep. On 4th of August 2019, and the then Minister Human Resource Development was present to witness and bless. And basically 80 plus output from various 80 plus projects PIs participated. If I remember correctly, there were about close to 40 models displayed. And some of them I just picked up, according to my own selection, extremely potential prototypes. Some of them, not all of them, by now actually already got patented and already are in the stage of commercial exploitation. Not all of them, though. And then that was our commitment, and we were glad to be able to showcase the overall exercise and the outcome of that. But then we also realized that there were weaknesses in the way we planned. Maybe we were too ambitious. And at that point of time, the Minister of Education discussed with DST. And fortunately, the then Secretary DST, Professor Ashutosh Sharma, knew IIT system very well. So it was very easy to convince him, and DST pledged to be a 50% partner, equal partner with MHRD. So IMPRINT-II was designed and was born. And in IMPRINT-II, we actually also got rid of some of the other weaknesses. There were a bit of whispers that these coordinators are all IITs and they are taking away all the proposals or something. So we said, all right, we'll, in IMPRINT-II, all the program advisory committee, instead of domain committees, we said program advisory committees, following the SERB model. And we created expert committees, and I'm so glad to see here today the likes of Dr. Goel, Dr. Banerjee, Mr. Chetal, and many others sitting in the audience. They all agreed to be the chairman of these PSCs. And so the model was slightly different. Here we said IMPRINT-II is a joint initiative of MHRD and DST through SERB. So there was an apex committee created and a steering committee who would monitor, and under them the program advisory committees. So the apex committee, of course, was co-chaired by the Secretary DST and Secretary Higher Education. Then we had Secretary SERB, the various ministry officials, and 3 experts, Dr. Anil Kakotkar, Mrs. Leela Punawala, Ms. Sujata Firodia, and also domain experts like Dr. Bhatkar, and President Aini was ex officio member, and so on. The steering committee had all the chair of the 10 domains, the 10 PSCs, and 3 subject domain experts, Professor Surendra Prasad, ex-director of IIT Delhi, Professor P. Balram, ex-director of ISC Bangalore, and Mr. K. Venkatraman from L&T. So these were the committees. As I said, I'm so glad to see that Dr. Goel, Dr. Chetal, Dr. Amit Ghosh, I don't know whether Professor Prem Krishna is around, Dr. Tyagi. Unfortunately, we lost Dr. Srikumar Banerjee. Then we have also Professor Vikram Kumar is sitting here, Professor Deepak Banerjee. So this is how we divided IMPRINT into the material world and the living world. So we created a much more objective application format online. The IMPRINT-I website had glitches, so IMPRINT-II was given to CDAC. And we created, so we invited proposals again about a month's time, and received a large number of applications divided into various domains. And for a change this time, we received more applications in healthcare technology than in any other domain. Followed by, of course, information and communication technology and so on. So there were very specific guidelines created as to how the proposals should be rated, again online and through peer review. 3 phases of reviews, initially by the screening committee, then blind review from the experts, and then finally at the PSC level. So these were the important date lines. 2018, March, April was launched, and then peer reviews during April, May 2018, steering committee meeting, PSC meetings, and so on and so forth. So the final announcement was made about the proposals, approval of the proposals in August 2018. The breakup, as you can see, is distributed to various domains. But then, though largest number of proposals came from healthcare technology, but eventually the largest number of projects were awarded to information and communication technology. Though altogether 122 proposals were launched. But here again, thanks to the vision of ACRB, we decided to have IMPRINT-II-A, II-B, II-C1, and II-C2. The last one was the most ambitious, where the total grant could be up to 20 crore, provided the concerned industry is willing to bring in 50% or 25% of that. I'm told that not many proposals could get through, but then at least from the government side, there is a very strong defense that the government was agreeable to fund to that tune and allow an industry to enjoy government funding of that level. One other intervention IMPRINT-II allowed was that institutions beyond Ministry of Education were also allowed to participate, not as PI though, but as co-PI. So these are the various distributions. Let's not look at these numbers and so on. I think I've exceeded my time. And these are the final distribution of the proposals who were funded eventually, who were 122 distributed all over the country. So I'll end saying that IMPRINT started with a very ambitious target. And in my honest opinion, at least till the time I was at the helm till March 31st, 2020. I was the national coordinator. I think we have, to a large extent, achieved at least one important goal, that while sitting in institutes of technology or engineering institutions, we should continue to do research and even fundamental research. But the same eye, when I produce a new knowledge with an application potential, what am I waiting for taking this, translating this to a possible technology creation? And that culture has to come in this country. When individual goes to the likes of MITs and Stanford, can create number of new initiatives, enterprises, which creates jobs, opportunities, solves problems for the society. The same I sitting in India, why can I not also do the same thing? So the entire enterprise was to create this drive and change the culture of not being complacent only up to publication of my knowledge of the outcome, but try and translate that into a product. Of course, we have great examples in the country in the form of Ministry of DRDO, DAE, and ISRO. But from academic institutions, the same individuals are very active partners in many of these initiatives in the country, which is able to throw a satellite to the orbit or create certain defense implements and so on. But not many examples exist where actually implements could go up to the market, starting from an IIT or NIT or any such academic institutions. So IMPRINT was meant all about that, to create that new culture. And I think to a large extent we are successful, but I'm also glad that today we are going to see the outcome of the IMPRINT-II proposals, and the best of the country's peers are reviewing them, so obviously they'll give the right kind of an advice. I must profusely thank the Ministry of Education for not only launching a program, but actually nurturing it all the way until now. And same thing to DST and SERB. And together they have created an excellent platform which certainly should benefit and take the country towards its professed goal of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would invite the different dignitaries to the dais. So first of all, I would like to invite Secretary SERB, Shri Akhilesh Gupta ji, to please join us on dais. I would also request the Joint Secretary, Srimati Soumya Gupta ji, Department of Higher Education, MOE, to please accompany us. Requesting respected Director, IIT Delhi, Professor Rangan Banerjee, and President INA to please join us on stage. I would also request Madam Rajwant to accompany them on the dais. So now I would like to call upon Dr. Harish, scientist staff and one of the member of IMPRINT-II team, to please facilitate Dr. Akhilesh Gupta ji. Dr. Harish. So now I would ask Dr. Shilpi, scientist staff and one of the member of IMPRINT-II team, to kindly facilitate Madam Soumya Gupta. Madam, please. So I would once again call upon Dr. Shilpi once again to present a small token of gratitude to Professor Banerjee. So I would call upon Dr. Nilotpal Ghosh, scientist F and one of the member of IMPRINT-II team, to kindly facilitate Professor Manna. So requesting Dr. Sukumar De, Scientist C, Department of SERB and member IMPRINT-II team to kindly facilitate Dr. Rajwant. So before we formally start with today's events, so I would like to invite our respected dignitaries for the lamp lighting ceremony. So I would request everyone to please join us for the same. So indeed, this lamp lighting ceremony has filled the atmosphere with the positive energy. So without further ado, I would like to request Dr. Rajwant for the welcome address. Dr. Rajwant, please.
It's a pleasure. I take a pleasure to invite everybody present in the hall, and I welcome Secretary SERB, Dr. Gilesh Gupta, and Senior Advisor DST, Joint Secretary Department of Higher Education, Ministry of Education, IS, Mrs. Soumya Gupta, Director IIT Delhi, Professor Rangan Banerjee, and Professor Indranil Manna, Vice Chancellor, Birla Institute of Technology, Misra, and the former National Coordinator IMPRINT, to the event that is organized by the SERB. So we all know, like Professor Manna has given very enriched, the information that he gave was very enriching about the IMPRINT. Now, by this time, and everybody knows that IMPRINT was initiated for bridging the gap between academia and industry. So as working together, the experts from both the ends, they can provide solutions to the real world problems. So encouraged by the enthusiasm and the utility, wide utility, the IMPRINT-II that was initiated from the IIT Kanpur, that was graduated into IMPRINT-II, jointly with the equal partnership of DST, Department of Science and Technology, and Ministry of Education, steered by SERB. IMPRINT-II involves the industry contribution of the order of 25% of the total project cost, and this collaborative effort is yielding a very good outcome that we are going to showcase here today. To get everybody informative about the present status of the IMPRINT scheme, we would like to share that the IMPRINT scheme has presently 175 projects that are ongoing. We have a few more projects in the IMPRINT-II C2 schemes that are yet to start. So 175 projects that are in the 10 domains, across the 10 domains, that has yielded a very good outcome. More than 60 technologies have been developed. 80 prototypes and products have been developed so far. Out of 107 patents that were filed across all domains, 15 have been granted. 15 technologies have been already commercialized so far. And one more very good that information that we need to share is, in addition to whatever I've told, is that 408 international and national publications in Science Indexed Journal have already been published in this IMPRINT-II scheme. SERB has developed knowledge portal for the real-time information on all the projects under IMPRINT-II, where we can view all the real-time outcomes of the projects under IMPRINT-II. IMPRINT website is also made voice-enabled for physically disabled people, especially the visually impaired people. So today's event showcases the outcome of IMPRINT-II projects to take the developed technology a step ahead with further domain expert interactions that are present here. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rajwant. So now it's a time to introduce another guest of the honor for the day, Srimati Soumya Gupta ji. Madam is currently Joint Secretary, Technical Education, Department of Higher Education, MOE. Madam is an IS officer of 2004 batch from the Tripura cadre. She is coordinating the research activities in the higher education institutes. Madam, we are fortunate to have you with us today. Now I would request Madam to please say a few words. So everyone, please welcome Madam Gupta with a big round of applause.
Professor Rangan Banerjee, Director IIT Delhi, Dr. Akhilesh Gupta, Secretary SERB, Professor Manna, respected dignitaries, scientists, colleagues. It is an absolute honor to be here today amongst you all. I have joined this sector recently, and it has been heartwarming to see the kind of work that has been going on. And it has been my established belief that basically those government schemes tend to yield success where they answer a felt need. And IMPRINT in its design itself, I think, was one of those which answered or which filled a void which was much needed. And IMPRINT, along with its sister schemes, where there is Sparks and STARS, Spark on the collaboration, foreign collaboration between researchers, and STARS on the a little bit on the more pure science side, which is coordinated by IISc Bangalore. This trilogy of schemes, I feel, is actually catering to three very specific sectors which need a huge fillip if we are to take both the research and the higher education scenario of India to the next level. And because the research outcomes, the collaboration is what needs the next fillip now at the stage at which we are. And now when the scheme, with the hard work of all the dignitaries here, has reached a particular level now, it has stabilized, it is at the cutting edge where it is now going to yield its main outcomes. I feel this is the time where we can now start merging the, not merging, but at least coordinating. Merging is possibly a higher level word, but coordinating the efforts of these three schemes so that we can get some inputs of foreign collaboration and the funds into IMPRINT, some of the outcomes of IMPRINT where there are synergies with STARS to merge it there or to coordinate it there. And also, if there can be some synergies with PMRF, which is not purely into the research thing, but at least which ensures that some of the brightest minds take up PhD, take up research, take up a doctorate. If we can align them to our research outcomes, this is what I feel, if this August House agrees, we can go along that path, not watering down any of the individual objectives or outcomes of any of these schemes, and yet coordinating efforts on all four. So I will request for further inputs on this a little while later, but thank you so much. And as I said before, it is an absolute honor to be here. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, madam. So moving forward, again, it's a great honor for me to introduce Professor Rangan Banerjee, respected Director, Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, with our audience. So Professor Banerjee is Four Marshall Chair Professor in Department of Energy Science and Engineering, IIT Bombay. Sir is also adjunct faculty in the Department of Engineering and Public Policy, Carnegie Mellon University. Sir's interests include energy management, modeling of energy systems, energy planning and policy, hydrogen energy, and fuel cells. Sir has more than 25 years of research experience with more than 200 publications to his credit. Sir is also the recipient of the prestigious award, including the Fellow INA and the Teaching Excellence Award. So under his leadership, the IIT Delhi has emerged as a leading institute in research and innovation in the field of energy environment, healthcare technologies, electric vehicle research, communication, sustainable clean energy, and many more. Sir has always emphasized to develop knowledge which is useful for the society and the industry. So now I would request Professor Banerjee to please say a few words. So everyone, let's welcome Professor Banerjee with a big round of applause.
Thank you. It's a great pleasure for me to be the host on behalf of IIT Delhi, the faculty, researchers, and students. It's a great pleasure for us to host this IMPRINT event. I have an old connect with IMPRINT, and Professor Manna did mention it. When IMPRINT started, Professor Manna reached out, and the energy security theme is something that we tried to catalyze in IMPRINT-I. The whole idea of IMPRINT was to ensure that we in the IITs and the education system actually see that the technologies that we work together with industry to build products that make a difference. And the initial phase of IMPRINT was where we were trying to identify mechanisms by which we have industry and academia talk to each other and identify problem definitions. So that was, we started with those workshops. Subsequently, however, the ministry decided that we will fund it. And that process got stalled, and we then started working on how do we create mechanisms of quickly assessing phase 1, phase 2. So we did that. This was an initiative of the Ministry of Education, and it was one of the first initiatives of Ministry of Education in the R&D framework. And the goal at that time was that other ministries will get involved. So that was a very nice goal, because in each domain we wanted to look at how would we identify the needs of the nation with the other ministries, with industry, and then identify projects that should be funded. Unfortunately, we could not get, that didn't sort of work. So neither the industry, so in a number of projects, the projects got funded, but we couldn't get support from the other ministries or so much the industry, and we are delighted that, of course, DST took over. But I think the original goal we should keep in mind as we look at reorienting, because we need to understand problems in society where technology can make a difference. And we have to have mechanisms by which industry and societal organizations help us identify the problems, and we work towards those prototypes. I'm delighted to see a lot of experts, a lot of researchers here. Many of them we have interacted with before at our institute. And I know for a fact that IIT Delhi has been involved in several of the IMPRINT projects. I know for a fact that many interesting prototypes have been developed, and you will be reviewing them today. The challenge is it is not just about showing the prototype, but benchmarking it against the existing baseline that is commercially available. And please keep that in mind. Often what happens is we see the thing and say, okay, it works. It works, but where is the advantage over what else is there? And how is it going to compete? And how is it going to scale? So the job doesn't end here. All of us who've been working on this, we've done well to get the prototype, but can the prototype scale? Can it go to market? And that is something we haven't yet been able to figure out. So IMPRINT-II plus, IMPRINT-III plus, can we get industry involved? Can we get the other ministries involved back? Can we see that we do the baseline? Can we see that we scale? These are all challenges, and I'm sure all of you who are here will rise to this challenge. We at IIT Delhi will be delighted to do whatever it is that we require to do. The SERB chairman is here, the MOE is here. Together we should see that we can really make a difference with our technology, where it actually becomes something where we don't have to have an event to show it. People know this is a technology which the IITs have developed through IMPRINT, and it's gone and it's scaled. So I'm hopeful that we will get to this in the next phase, and we are delighted to be able to host you, and we look forward to having greater interactions with all of you at IIT Delhi. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So I'm very happy to share that SERB has come up with a few fruitful outcomes of IMPRINT projects encapsulated in the form of a compendium entitled as Research Highlights IMPRINT-II. So I would now request the dignitaries on the dais to please share the glimpse of the compendium with the audience and formally release the same. Thank you, everyone. So now I would like to call upon the other member secretaries who are looking after the domains under IMPRINT-II, Dr. Shilpi, Dr. Rajwant, who is already on the dais, Dr. Nilotpal Ghosh, Dr. Harish, Dr. Sukumar De to join us. Also, I would request the program coordinator, Dr. Amitav Roy, to join us on stage. So all they have been working tirelessly very hard for the successful outcome of the projects lying under their domains, which every one of us will see during the technology display coming up at the next section. So it's the time that we should appreciate their commendable work and thank them with a big round of applause. Thank you, everyone. So as we all have gathered today for this momentous occasion of IMPRINT-II technology display, so we are thrilled to present an exceptional short film that has garnered the fruitful outcome of IMPRINT-II. So I would request the technical team to please feature the same.
Working towards the development of indigenous technologies through IMPRINT-II, SERB is committed to strengthen the R&D ecosystem of the country by strengthening the industry, academia, science, technology and innovation. With the real-time information on selected 176 IMPRINT-II projects, knowledge portal has been developed by SERB, and with this short film, we will take you to a journey of handful of such success stories. Professor Sudarshan Kumar from IIT Bombay has developed an anti-hail gun system to stop the formation of hailstones inside the cumulonimbus supply of supersonic shock waves and protecting crops from hail. Professor Supreet Singh Bagga from IIT Delhi has developed prototype of electro-hydrodynamic jet printer that prints custom polymeric structures with sub-micrometer feature size, having application in tissue engineering, microfluidics, MEMS, printed electronics. Dr. Shanmuganathan Raman from IIT Gandhinagar has developed technology for digital preservation and restoration of Indian cultural heritage by generating high-fidelity 3D models of heritage sites and ancient artifacts. Professor Indumati from IIT Madras has developed EcoFert, a green fertilizer unit.
Water, sanitation and agriculture are the major thrust areas for developing countries. While we are addressing the sanitation issues, we are creating toilets and wastewater treatment plants which discharge large amount of nutrients into water bodies.
In order to solve all the issues, we developed a technology that can recover nutrient and water from urine. In this technology, the fresh urine collected from the waterless urinals is sent to the distillation column, where ammonia is stripped with the help of steam. And the stripped urine is used to recover phosphorus as struvite. Later, the supernatant is treated to retrieve water. Our 1000 liters per day EcoFet unit saves 5 lakhs liters of water per year, recovers 30,000 liters of 4% ammonia worth 9 lakhs rupees, and 600 kg of struvite worth 18,000 rupees, while diverting 1200 kg of nitrogen and 70 kg of phosphorus from going directly into the sewer.
Professor Vikramjit Basu from IIC Bangalore has developed a commercially viable technology for acetabular wires for total hip replacement surgery.
This project also allows us to innovate some of the new materials, and these new materials are developed both at Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur, IIT Bangalore and IIT Guwahati. As you see that there are some materials which are being also patented at IIT Guwahati. IIT Guwahati researchers also have patented a new ball and cup tribometer.
Professor M.P. Mathia from IIT Madras has developed a novel desiccant solar cell capable of harnessing potable water from thin air. The desiccant absorbs the atmospheric moisture at night and releases it using direct solar energy, producing potable water. Professor Rishi Raj from IIT Patna has developed a climate control unit at IIT Patna based on biomass gasification used for storage of vegetables and processing of agricultural produce. The developed unit independently controls temperature and humidity. It offers an efficient and environment-friendly waste-to-value concept as an alternative to the conventional cold storage facilities that uses grid power and has massive potential for agrarian economies. Professor Vipul Arora from IIT Kanpur has developed Narottam, a smart platform for teaching Indian classical music with AI-based performance assessment.
Sa re ga ma pa dha ni sa.
Professor Sujata Srinivasan from IIT Madras has developed hybrid, manual plus motorized, customizable, portable, joystick-operated motorized wheelchair. Customization approach has been implemented that will improve health and posture of the users. Professor P.V. Madhusudan Rao from IIT Delhi has designed and developed compact, low-cost and easy-to-manufacture Braille cell modules for refreshable Braille display. The cell development technology is entered to develop a low-cost, complete passive Braille reels, which consists of 20 cells with 6 dots that supports major screen readers like NVIDIA and smartphones. Professor Nishit Verma from IIT Kanpur has developed a prototype of single-chamber microbial fuel cell for treatment of high organics loaded wastewater through a conical shaped packed bed. Professor Kumar Vaibhav Srivastav from IIT Kanpur has designed and developed textile-based metamaterial absorber for radar stealth for defense applications. Field testing showed that BFSR could not detect metamaterial covered vehicle up to 5 kilometers. Professor Siddharth Talur from IIT Bombay has developed indigenous corrosion monitoring system for reinforced structures using eddy currents and ultrasonics. Let's join hands to make India a leader in technology.
So, indeed, the commendable work done by the PIs is appreciable. So, moving on next, it's my great pleasure to welcome Dr. Akhilesh Gupta, Secretary SERB, and introduce him to the audience. So, Dr. Gupta is currently holding the charge as a Secretary, Science and Engineering Research Board, Government of India. Sir is also associated to the Department of Science and Technology as Senior Advisor, where he is heading the Policy Coordination and the Program Management Division. He was the overall in charge of 5 national missions related to cyber-physical system, quantum technology, supercomputing, climate change, and Himalayan ecosystem. So was also the former secretary of UGC. A distinguished atmospheric scientist, Dr. Gupta has to his credit more than 200 research articles in reputed journals of interest. He is also a fellow of Indian National Academy of Engineers, Indian Meteorological Society, and the Association of Agrometeorologists. With this, I would like to request Dr. Gupta to please address the audience. So let's welcome Dr. Gupta with a big round of applause.
Professor Rangan Banerjee, Professor Ganna, Soumyaji, my colleague Dr. Rajwant, some distinguished experts and senior colleagues like Dr. K.S. Goyal and many others that we know, and my colleagues from SERB, Amitava, Raheen, Harish, Shilpi, Nilottal, Subhamar Day, and many others sitting in the audience. A very good morning to all of you. I take this privilege to again caught up the responsibility that was given to SERB for coordinating and for spearheading the IMPRINT-II. And thanks to Professor Manna for spearheading the IMPRINT-I and the beautiful presentation that he presented today gives kind of a flavor of what has been done. And thanks to, very special thanks to Ministry of Education who have been supporting this initiative along with the Department of Science and Technology. I think it has already been presented that this is IMPRINT is a successful program, and we are doing fairly well in this creating intervention of industry with academia, and we have produced some good number of technologies, and many of these technologies have gone to the market level. And therefore, we can say it is a kind of successful venture. Of course, the penetration takes time, so we should not expect result right now, and maybe it will take some more time to have more impactful results after some time. This is true that slowly the kind of culture of going forward from the technology development, research to technology development to technology translation and market is building up, and the collaboration most of these academic institutions now are in fact going forward with industry, and not just the collaboration, but also they are working right from the beginning of building for creating this technology. In fact, recently, I just wanted to give an idea that some of the recent developments are showing that India is now going forward and becoming more innovative in terms of not just at the industry, but also going forward with the collaboration that is building up. You know that the public-private partnership model, although we have been talking about this for so many years, in R&D there have not been very successful models. If you see the Fraunhofer model or the model that US practices and many others have been quite successful for last more than a decade. India is yet to learn and make successful PPP model in R&D. Quite of that comes from the kind of trust building between the government, academia, and the industry trio. But this is taking place now to some extent. I'll give you one data that recently DST had, along with UNIDO, brought out a national manufacturing survey, manufacturing innovation survey, and this has shown very interesting results. Nearly, that, and this is mainly focusing on MSMEs and the large industry. We have had survey comprising of more than 15,000 companies, and this shows that if you see the number, so in terms of the percentage, 25% of Indian firms showing that they are innovative, and there is a definition of being innovative, as against 38% US and China, and that is the figure that we have. So we are not very much behind the US and China, but of course the country like Sweden, South Africa, and many other countries, they are showing the level of say 50% and more. But I think India, this is the forecast that has been kind of worked out, and we say that in about a decade from now, we'll be at par with many of these countries. Of course, there are some gray areas. I'll just tell you, say, we have 97,000 startups in the country. But if you look at the tech startup, technology startup, there are about 12,000 or so. But if you really see the deep tech startup, they are less than 3%. And now that we are coming up with deep tech missions like quantum missions or IC mission, these will help increasing the number of course, companies right now not showing much interest in deep tech because of less profit and more investment. I think over the time they will find interest in this and doing this thing. The IMPRINT is it's kind of a program which actually kind of motivate academic institution to go from the TRL level, say 1 to 3, to higher TRL level, at least going up to 6 or 7, and in some cases going even beyond that. But that requires a lot of effort from our side. Of course, it is successful, but still that at university level, the research continues to be at lower TRL. And we need to change the pattern of funding from our side. So there is kind of thinking in government that we must change the pattern of funding. The most of the funding that we do, say in SERB, actually is for the basic research, or you can say the low end of the research, that is their funding amount is in the range of 40 to 50 lakh for 3 years. Time has come that we need to focus on the profound research rather than just incremental research. And therefore that change is likely to come. Also, that we must now try to fund more industry-driven research, or let me put it right way, that the research which is led by the private sector but supported by the government. So this kind of change in the funding pattern is kind of thought about. We already started a program in SERB called FIRE, and it is aiming to do this way, and it is very successful, where industry comes forward, invests 50% of funding for the research and 50% by the government, by SERB. And so that is the one that is seeing we need to take such kind of initiative forward, and will be very successful to get the higher TRL outcome of the thing. There are two big challenges of STI, science and technology innovation, that we are facing right now. And this is part of the science and technology innovation policy that has been formulated. One big challenge is India has one of the lowest full-time equivalent researcher number per million of population, something like now the current data 276. And although the number of researchers we have something like 4 lakh plus, but then compared to China, we are still number is less. So China has something like 20 lakh, US is something like 25 lakh. So number is of course comparable, but the per million of population number is quite low for the country. The second big challenge is the private sector participation in R&D. It's only 40% or less, 38, 39%. The government is working for incentivizing private sector. I think that need to be aggressively taken forward, and these are IMPRINT, and these kind of initiative can be very useful on the thing. In fact, some of the work that we did in the CRV has been very useful in recently. For example, the change that we are bringing in terms of high impact research funding is going to be very important indeed. state level innovation is a very interesting area. See, generally in the innovation, the national innovation policy that we have, or national innovation initiative that we have, is focusing largely on the major industry and the related areas. But at the state level, the initiatives are driven by the state innovation initiative, and that is a very so we find that this our innovation survey has suggested that some states are doing very well, while some other states are not able to do. And this kind of things are reflected in terms of data that we gather. For example, if you see that the states like Karnataka, the Dadar and Nagar Haveli, Daman and Diu, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, they are doing extremely well in innovation. And whereas some states, like northeastern states and all, they are not doing well. Very interesting result that we got is that in Telangana is one of the best states that is doing in innovation. But Andhra is one of the worst doing innovation. And that is an interesting case study. We did that in detail and found why it is so. And the factor is Hyderabad. So sometimes, the innovation, this is the finding that innovation is actually clustering in pockets, in states, in the, and so we need to have spread of innovation going to different. Anyway, that is more kind of those things. I think I would say that India is doing very well in terms of research. We are number 3 in terms of number of publication. We are also doing good. In fact, recent data shows that we are started doing well in terms of quality also. So the citation industry now are improving, and we are now number 9. Of course, we were 5 years back, we were 13th. In terms of patent also, in fact, recent data shows that the resident patent is actually improving, and in fact, it is causing the non-resident patent in last year that has been thing. What the magic is that despite our being low in terms of number of researchers and low in terms of our R&D expenditure, we have been able to do a much better thing. And so that is the magic that we enjoy in India. I am told, Professor Manna told me about this information, and I didn't know, and I must compliment all the coordinators and the participants of the IMPRINT. And I am told that the 90% of the coordinators of IMPRINT are FNAE. And since I am FNAE, so I feel very proud that I am being part of this. So this shows that Indians are doing well, and they are doing good participation in the IMPRINT. We wish that, and we hope that IMPRINT will go to the next level of much more intense, much more proactive implementation. I can promise some Science and Technology, Science and Engineering Research Board that we will not leave any stone unturned, and we'll give our 100% to implement this and to in fact have the increase making the big impact on ground. And I request all of you to kindly help us, guide us to take this forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. So now I would like to call upon Dr. Shilpi for a formal vote of thanks.
Thank you, Taranjeet. Good morning to all. Thank you is such a prayer that cannot be seen or touched. It must be felt by heart. I feel honored and privileged to get the opportunity to propose vote of thanks on this special occasion. My sincere gratitude to Secretary SERB and Senior Advisor DST for giving us opportunity and guidance to make this event happen. I would like to thank Joint Secretary, Department of Higher Education, Ministry of Education, Srimati Soumya Gupta ji, for agreeing to grace the event for her presence and supporting IMPRINT as a joint DST MOE initiative. Thank you, Madam. We are grateful to the Director, IIT Delhi, Professor Rangan Banerjee, for hosting this event at IIT Delhi and providing the much required technical support for the event. In spite of his busy schedule, he could attend the event. Thank you, sir. A special thanks to Professor Indranil Manna, Vice Chancellor, Birla Institute of Technology, Mishra, and former National Coordinator, IMPRINT, for delivering a very informative talk on IMPRINT on a short notice. I am very much thankful to all the program advisory committee members, PIs, co-PIs, industry partners of IMPRINT project, and SERB IMPRINT team. Words are not enough to thank their constant guidance, support, and hard work to shape the IMPRINT program and event at this level. I also thank print and electronic media, SERB, DST Media Cell, and Doordarshan for covering the event. I convey my thanks to one and all present here, including SERB and DST officials, for taking their time to join us today for this event. I also convey our thanks to our administration and finance for their constant support. Last but not the least, much appreciated are the effort of Professor Tapan Kumar Gandhi, Cadence Chair, Professor of Artificial Intelligence, Department of Electrical Engineering, IIT Delhi, and his team for making this event happen. Thank you all, and enjoying the wonderful tech exhibition. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madam. I now humbly request everyone to please stand up for the national anthem.
Jana Gana Mana Adhinayaka Jaya He Bharat Bhagya Vidhata Punjab Sindh Gujarat Maratha Dravida Utkala Vanga Vindhya Himachala Yamuna Ganga Uchchala Jaladhi Taranga Tava Shubha Name Jage Tava Shubha Ashish Mange Gahe Tava Jaya Gatha Jana Gana Mangala Dayak Jaya He Bharat Bhagya Vidhata Jaya He Jaya He Jaya He Jaya 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 He.
So I just have a very small announcement for the PIs. So they can move forward to the lecture hall complex to check out with the stalls and posters. I would just once again request the dignitaries on the dais, the PAC members, and the member of IMPRINT-II team to please stay back for a minute for a group photograph.